Mr. L.P. Lord, Chairman and Managing Director of the Austin Motor Company, announces new Austin models.
Compared with the old models, these new ones have interior heating and ventilation, independent front suspension, concealed door hinges and running boards, and many other refinements. We obviously don't believe that because a car is small, it need of necessity be austere. I personally am confident of the success of these new Austins. They are the right size, not just small cars. They are thoroughly practical from every motoring standpoint. They look right and they are right.
Leonard Lord had every reason to sound pleased with himself. Just 2 years after the end of the war, Austin were ready to take the family car into a new era. October 1947, Austin workers prepared to launch the new A40 Devon and Dorset. Although one of Britain's largest car plants, Longbridge was a close-knit community. Prototype craftsman Doug Adams, housed in the nearby Austin village, sacrificed evenings with his own family to get the cars out in record time.
Very often I've come home and had a phone call, could I go back in and get this particular job done. I've known times when we've worked, say, 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock the next morning. You wouldn't dream of not meeting a date if you promised to get a thing out, because it was so important that it was out on time.
Chairman Leonard Lord maintained the pressure, casting a paternal eye over proceedings.
He used to be very close to us in those days, and he used to come in the shop almost every day, and we've made a stool for him to sit on. He was a very dynamic sort of person, and he knew what he wanted, and so that was our job, to make sure that we pleased him.
But British families waiting to get their hands on one of these new cars were out of luck. Of the first 30,000 produced, only 1,000 stayed in this country. Export was the name of the game, and the A40 earned more dollars for Britain than any other single product.
Leonard Lord, we went to America a couple of times just to make sure what we were making was right, and they got the market for them, because the main thing was exports in those days, just to keep us going.
Austin helped build a Britain of the future by selling an image of its past. While the country lay shell-shocked and bankrupt, the names Devon and Dorset evoked the comforting image of a green and unchanged land. In 1952, Austin merged with the Nuffield Group of Wolseley, Riley, MG and Morris to become the British Motor Corporation. Like its new partners, Morris had been cashing in on its heritage. The company had recently resurrected a name first used in 1930. This tag carried with it the distinguished tradition of Morris's hometown.
As a boy, I always dreamed of having a Morris Oxford, because my choir master used to take me out for a run in the country, and I always thought, when I grow up, I'll have a Morris. We were driving along Tankerton in the year 53. There it was one day, sitting in the showroom, and I stopped the car and said to Maisie, there's a Morris Oxford over there. And I went in and bought it.
With waiting lists of up to 5 years and a price of just under £700, the De La Hoys were lucky it was that easy. They christened their new Morris Joss, and she quickly became a valued member of the family, taking Jack and his wife Maisie on annual camping trips to the continent.
The tent frame, the ground sheet outside the tent, and the ground sheet inside where the beds were, and the floor covering. Poly water jerry cans, 2 safari beds, 2 mattresses, 2 cooking. Oh, I used to spend months planning a tour, because if you go anywhere camping, you can't come home to pick it up. You've either got it or you haven't. To me, a car is an extension of your home. It's another room, but it's got wheels. I took all the maps, but as the years go by, you get so used to your routines. So you know the way, and you vary it. Might be up in the hills somewhere, and you find a cafe and have a cup of coffee, and the lorry drivers have pulled in, and then they say, have you been to so-and-so and so-and-so? Marvellous little places that nobody would know, wouldn't be marked on the maps, you know. Well, this picnic box is now 50 years old and was built by my great friend Albert Pearson, the Royal Navy, Chatham, all those years ago, so that we could have everything in one place. Don't understand that. Perhaps that one is wider than that one. Albert, you didn't tell me that. And as soon as we camp, to make a cup of tea. Thanks, Albert. Always we were able to make tea. That was the essential part of our life, cups of tea. And I fitted this kettle up right in the beginning. It's just a simple teapot with an immersion heater in, which plugs onto the battery. And in 15 minutes you've got boiling water. We'd go on moving all the time, and she'd say, it's a cup of tea. And I'd say yes, and she'd say, it's boiled, I made it. So we'd find a pull-in somewhere, you know. It was all rather wonderful.
Not all aspects of continental travel were quite as civilised.
Toilets on the continent, as you know, is very difficult, so we were self-contained. Maisie had her own little pea pot. There's the pot. All nicely done away with, as she did everything. In a zip bag. There's the toilet roll and there's the pot. Yeah. All mod cons.
Jack's Morris Oxford is more than just a car. It has come to symbolise 58 years of happy marriage to Maisie.